Hello and welcome to Truth, Lies and Work, the award-winning podcast where behavioural science meets workplace culture. We are brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. My name is Leanne. I'm a chartered occupational psychologist.
My name is Al, and I've got a strange voice today. Hang on, let me do that again. My name is Al, and I'm a business owner. I don't know what happened there, sorry.
Amp up the energy, Al.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, my name's Al, and Jesus, I've just banged my microphone.
Woo! And we're here to help you simplify science at work. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, you probably guessed by straight away that this is not the most professional episode we've done. None of our episodes, apart from the ones with guests, are particularly professional. But what we do on a Tuesday in August, we tend to try and have August off. So on a Tuesday in August, we do a little bit loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
If there was a video version of this, you'd see that we're both drinking a little glass of rosé wine.
Yeah, what my friends call a PAF.
Which stands for?
Pale as rosé.
Thank you for helping me with my edit there by editing yourself. Lee,
no problem.
We did. So last week we had Nick Cutte and John White. We were on their podcast Nerd Journey, so we gave you that. If you haven't gone to listen to part 2, it's out now. Definitely go and listen to that. The week before that, we did Remote Work Roulette, where we just said all the places that we've been and where you might want to live, might want to work. Then what else did we do for August?
Ask old people.
Ask old people, yes.
Ask old people. We mourned the loss of AOL dial-up and dove into Reddit's Ask Old People feed to answer some questions. And the first week, what did we do the first week?
I think that might be remote.
The F-up files.
The F-up files, yes.
Yeah, our own personal and career disasters. It's what we're calling our summer sessions. And this is kind of our last summer session, really, because next Tuesday, well, we're not quite back to This Week in Work. We are talking a bit more seriously about what does the next 3-4 months look like. I don't say Q4, but we're all thinking it. And what you might be able to do in terms of people and culture in that time to have an impact.
Well, you will be able to do something because you've got, all right, from like the second week in December, not really much point in doing anything. Everyone's in a really good mood anyway. But when people come back from holiday or vacation, if you're from across the pond, then they're probably in quite good moods. So it's probably a good time to say, guys, shall we continue the joy? If you haven't listened to last Thursday's episode, we had Joel Zeff on talking about, talking about bringing joy to the workplace. So go and listen to that. But anyway, Lee, what are we doing today?
Today, we are going to be ranking the wildest workplace stories of 2025 so far.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, so regular listeners will know that This Week in Work, our normal Tuesday format, has a news roundup, and it's my favourite time of the week and I miss it, so I brought some news back into my life. So I pulled together the biggest headlines so far this year. Some are funny, some are shocking, some are really just sad-making.
So I think this is how Leanne's told me it's going to work, is basically we've got 7 stories. I've not seen them, Leanne has, but 7 stories. We'll pick one at random, and then Leanne's going to read out the recap, or I will read out the recap so you know what's happened, and then we're going to talk about it. And at that point, you can decide whether you want to stop the podcast or keep going.
Yeah, but if you do want to keep going, for each story, we're going to give it a grade. So a bit like a school report card for Americans, or like you're getting your A-level GCSE results. A+ means it's brilliant for workplace culture. F means total fail. How can you even look at yourself in the mirror? How do you sleep at night? Bad.
As we go, we're going to ask the same sort of questions like, what does this tell us about work in 2025? Or is this progress? Or are we sliding backwards? And obviously, will people still care about this story in 5 years' time?
Yeah, and that's it really. Nice and simple headlines, bit of context, and then our take. It might be spicy, it might be indifferent. Let's see. Al.
Right. Okay, so after this very short break, we'll look at story number 1, chosen by random. Leah, give us a random number.
I thought we were going to the break first.
I know, but I'm building a curiosity. I'm opening a curiosity hook.
4.
So there, if you want to know what 4 is, join us after the break. 4.
Yes.
That's the number you chose, 4.
Yeah, so as I chose it, do you want to read it out?
I'll read it. So, pulling it out of the hat, actually clicking on the tab on Google Docs. So, Soham Parekh working at 4 startups. This is brilliant. Okay. So, this is what happened, unless you haven't heard of it. As I tell you the story, you probably will recognize it. On July the 2nd, Playground AI founder Suhail Doshi posted a viral warning on X, that's Twitter for us boomers. PSA, public service announcement, there's a guy named Soham Parekh who works at 3 or 4 startups at the same time. He's been preying on YC companies. Now, this post got 20 million views and prompted dozens of other founders to share identical experiences. A database created on July the 4th revealed, I kind of like this guy, revealed Parekh had 19 jobs since 2021, with 5 starting in just the previous month. On July the 5th, Parek appeared on a podcast admitting to working 140 hours per week across multiple roles, claiming dire financial circumstances. Just to put that in context, I believe there's 160 hours in the week, 140 hours in the week. I can't remember. So despite the controversy, he landed a new job at Darwin Studios. I didn't know that.
I did not know this.
Okay. So the reaction was the tech community split between calling him a scanner and admiring the audacity. I'm definitely falling for the latter of those two. It did create this broader discussion about remote work, trust, and hiring processes, with some worried about the impact on legitimate Indian remote workers. Shall we talk about that? Then we'll go to the question in a second.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts?
Is this the same? Because I remember you telling a similar story. Is this the same dude that you told the story about? So I thought in that you said that he wasn't actually doing the work, but he was doing the work.
Well, this is what I remember from the story. And this is the bit where the idea is kind of cool, because people were saying he's a genius. People were saying he's absolutely brilliant. Mm-hmm. He's like a top-rate engineer, which is cool. However, what was happening was, Bobby, I'm on a podcast. That's our little dog scratching himself. And so what he did was he'd go in and say he'd get a full-time job, and then he'd come up with all these excuses. And one of them was like a drone hit his house, like a military drone hit his house. Then he was in hospital.
I mean, I'm not sure the timing of that, but I'm hoping it wasn't around that time.
No. And also, because he lived in India, then he said he'd got himself a permit to live in the US, but he hadn't. Mm-hmm. So it's the point here where I'm slightly disappointed, because if he was able to hold down 3 jobs, for example, and do them all brilliantly, and he worked, he did work 120 hours a week, but he did that for 3 years, and he went great, not generational wealth, but decent amount of money. Yeah. Cool. But it seemed like he was scamming a little bit.
Yeah. There's a dude on YouTube who's getting a bit famous now. He does financial advice in a very angry way. Have you seen him? He has like 2 people, one person will sit down and basically call them twats, and but then help them get themselves out of debt and stuff.
Like a very angry Dave Ramsey.
Yeah. Well, he has admitted himself on somebody else's podcast that he got to that point of being able to go self-employed because he worked 2 jobs remotely. And took the salary. But his point was that he looked through his contract. There was nothing in there to say that he couldn't. He hit all the performance indicators he was meant to. Nobody knew the difference. In that circumstance, my only question mark around what we'd call overemployment, is whether you are taking that opportunity away from somebody else. And in such a tough job market, that is problematic, I think.
I'm going to jump in there and say, if you are taking that opportunity for someone else because you're not doing the work, yes. If you've taken the opportunity from someone else because you are better and you can still, only doing 50% of your time, you can still do a better job than someone who spent 100% of the time, I'd say that's natural selection. So I'd say that's meritocracy at its very best. So I think that I agree with you. If this person's taken a role and is not doing the work, then they've taken away from someone else. If they've taken the role and they are doing the work and they just so happen to can do 2 at the same time, tough.
I think we'll have to agree to disagree on that one, on the nuance of that one. I think overemployment is definitely a thing, isn't it? Whether it's with multiple organizations, whether you're a contract with many contracts, whether you've got a couple of side hustles going alongside your full-time job, it's a thing. It's just the way it is because people need money, man. Like it's really tough out there, isn't it? At the minute, with continues to be inflation and everything else. In terms of rating this as a problem, I'm gonna go. It's kind of like D. So it's a bit poor. It's a bit problematic, and I think the main problem comes from taking opportunities away from other people and potentially ruining remote work for everybody else. Because the headlines that entrepreneurs and business owners and leaders are picking up on is that people can't be trusted to work remotely because they'll do things like this. And I think that's probably the minority. And the fact that he's gone viral and is in the news and all over podcasts across the world is because it's a fairly rare thing in terms of holding down multiple high-paid jobs with tech startups. I'm sure everyone's got a side hustle.
Yeah, and I think a lot of companies do encourage. We had Becky on recently who encourages side hustles at her digital agency. But yeah, look, I can't help but admire the guy. I just think where it fell down was he didn't do what he was paid to do. Mm-hmm. And if he'd delivered everything he was paid to do, then I'd be like, guys, you've got no redress. Even if it is against the terms of his contract, I'm like, well, we've all done stuff which is against the terms of our contract, haven't we? Maybe not you.
Speak for yourself.
I know I definitely have. So we're
what
giving.
are you going to give it? I gave it a D. It sounds like you're going a bit higher.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a C. I'm going to give it a C. Now, just remind me, C. What am I grading here? Because I'm a bit confused by the
just
grading.
Like how good is it or bad for it for work in general, workplace culture?
What impact has it had on workplace culture?
Yeah, or in terms of stories like this and the impact they might have.
No, I think in that case, then I'd go with D because it's had a negative impact on if it gets like 10% of people who were slightly for work. Remote work, and now they're like, oh no, we're not going to do remote work because of that guy. I remember that guy. Then I think it's bad for remote work.
Okay, that's a D then.
That's a D.
Sorry, dude.
Wow. Okay, Lee, your turn to read the story. My turn to pick the number.
Yes,
I'm going to go with number 6, please.
Number 6. Oh, this is a fairly recent one. I'm not sure this would have entered your world. Let's see. Sydney Sweeney's Jeans or Jeans American Eagle ad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this was July, so about a month ago. So what happened if you haven't heard of it? American Eagle, which is a clothing brand in the US, launched their fall-autumn campaign featuring Sydney Sweeney. She's a very famous one from, I want to say, Euphoria?
I don't know where she's from. I've seen a lot of her.
Yes.
Both a lot of her and also a fair amount of her.
Yes, she is famous for many reasons. So the tagline of the campaign was Sydney Sweeney has great genes, Jeans. This campaign then included a video where Sydney Sweeney says genes, Genes, are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair colour, personality, or even eye colour. My genes are blue. While the camera then pans to her blue eyes. You might think this is harmless. Well, criticism began very swiftly on TikTok and X, with users calling it eugenics propaganda due to the blonde, blue-eyed actress discussing good genes. A few days later, a White House spokesperson got involved.
Of course they did. Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we need.
I believe that Donald Trump is a big fan of Sydney Sweeney, and I cannot imagine for why. But this White House spokesperson called the backlash cancel culture run amok. And Trump went on to praise both Sweeney and the ad campaign, leading to a 23% stock rise on August the 5th. So yeah, in terms of the reaction, it generated over 50 million readers across 3,000 news articles, 18 times more normal mention volume for the brand. Critics argued it echoed historical eugenics messaging, while supporters praised it as pushback against woke marketing. So the question is, Al, is this calculated corporate strategy during a DEI backlash that delivered massive results, or is it harmful messaging that echoes historical eugenics and should have been caught?
Well, I think it's both, and I'll tell you for why. I think that it is harmless, and I think it is deliberate, because I think the agency who did this is genius, because they've gone, do you know what? They could do jeans is like jeans. And once we did a jeans thing, once American Eagle was like, we can't do that. And they're like, yeah, you can. Yeah. And now they've got millions, potentially hundreds of millions of pounds worth of earned media from it. Is that the right term? Earned media? Basically not paid for. Media. Everyone's talking about it. We're talking about it 2 months later. I've seen so much stuff on there. And also, here's a boomer. Here's a boomer account that's probably going to get me cancelled. I think there are a lot of people in the world where there's not a whole lot going on in their life, and they're just looking around and they cannot wait to find something to be outraged about. And they saw this and they went, it doesn't even apply to me, but I'm outraged. And I think that's what's happened. And I think there are a few people who've gone, yeah, is this like a sort of a Nazi thing? Can we say Nazi? I don't know how to believe that.
You just did.
You just did. Is this like a sort of, like you said, this is all about blonde hair, blue eyes. Man, I think just there's bigger things to worry about than a pair of frickin' jeans. What do you think?
Oh, we are so going to get cancelled for that.
Yeah. Well, I've said it, not you.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it is people's window of tolerance for this level of BS has shrunk down massively because we're seeing such a rollback in human rights in terms of diversity and equity and various minority groups, including women, and the rollback of women's health and DEI initiatives in organisations and the rise of racism and hate crimes. And it's anything that is potentially fanning the flames of this and causing more divide. I think understandably people are speaking up and going, this seems a little bit problematic. Would this have been as problematic 3 years ago? Maybe not. Maybe not. Also, wouldn't it have been as effective 3 years ago? And that's what irritates me about marketers. Like, we're all angry, of course. We're all angry, we're frustrated, we're feeling a bit segregated, and we're feeling a divide, and we're feeling a bit sensitive and vulnerable. And you're going to poke that bear to make some money. Of course you are, because that's what works. That's the behavioural science behind it all. But man, if you used your powers for good, what a world.
But you can't use your powers for good. This is the problem, is that if you want to affect change, and marketers want to affect change, they want people to move to American Eagle brand to buy their jeans, then they've got two options. They go, American Eagle jeans are really nice. Or they go, Sydney Sweeney's got great jeans. Maybe it's I don't know what the alternative, what were they trying to say? But anyway, my point is they had to go down this route. Otherwise, it's just like, oh, we got nice jeans. You should maybe go and buy some. They didn't have to go down the route, but I admire it. I think it's a bold advertising campaign. I think it was intentionally meant to fan flames. And I think that there's probably some 1% of the complaints are probably genuine and have got genuine points behind them. I am sorry, but my personal, and this is not the opinion of the podcast or Leanne, but my personal opinion is 99% of people just saw something to get outraged about and went, yeah, great. Right. Do you remember back about 15 years ago on Radio 2, where Russell Brand, although he's no longer a good guy, Russell Brand and who was the other guy?
Oh, yeah.
And they, it was really famous. He was what's he called? Jonathan Wass.
Granddaughter or something.
Phoned someone's granddaughter and did something weird, said some horrible stuff.
Yeah. And bearing in mind, Russell Brand has now been in court for rape and sexual assault charges. So
yeah, so I think that maybe Russell Brand was, anyway, that's a different conversation. My point was that when, the hands look at me to going, where the hell are you going with this, Al? The point was that the BBC got about 200 complaints for when that went out. And then when it hit the papers the next morning, then they got about 20,000 complaints. Now, those people hadn't heard the original stuff. They were just like, this is terrible. Right, I'm going to go and complain about it. And it's like, really?
Fair enough. But equally, I think there's an element of when these things hit the news or hit social media, an element of education as to why this is problematic.
Okay.
For example, you spoke to Any Door not so long ago and had now had a complete rethink about how you describe people, where you'll catch yourself, you go, oh, I met this incredible woman today. And you're like, wait a minute, why do I need to gender them? I met this incredible person today. Let me tell you about them. I think there is a balance so we can continue to have conversations and be creative and empathize and learn more about each other in an open, honest way that doesn't feel like we're having to tiptoe or walk on eggshells. Equally, I just think any messaging that causes more divide for the sake only of infamy and profit doesn't sit nicely with me.
Fair enough. So on a scale of A to F, what are you giving it?
Another D. I think it do you know what? It reveals deeper problems in our culture, in our organizational life, in our leadership. I don't think it's necessarily the ad campaign. I think it's how it was done, the timing of it, and how people will now also use it as another kind of marking point to go, oh, well, all this DEI stuff is just complete BS, because do you remember how Trump backed up the Sydney Sweeney campaign and he said it was fine and she was just selling jeans? So it's the creep that makes me uncomfortable. It normalizes these types of divisions and segregations, and that I'm not down for.
Fair enough. Well, my instinct is to give it a C, because I don't think it's made work life better in any way, but I also genuinely don't believe it's made work life much worse. So I'm going to go with C, which stands for, which also is the word cancel starts with C. So yeah, Lee, have we got time for one more before a break, or should we go to a break?
Let's go to a break.
Okay, we'll see you in a second. Welcome
back. If you've just joined us, you rebel, you're my kind of person. This is what we're doing. We're taking some news stories from the past 8 months or so. We're recapping and we're having a little bit of a say on how they might have impacted workplace culture, organizational life. So far, we've heard about the Indian guy who had 1,200 jobs and lied about doing them all, and Sydney Sweeney. for that jeans campaign. So let's go on to the next one. Al, is it your turn to pick a number? Is it mine?
My turn. I will go with number 2.
Number 2.
And what was the number? What was it? What are you laughing at?
What number 2 is?
Is it what? As in, like, no, I'm being childish. What was the previous number we did? Was it 6?
We did 4 and 6. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So go on. Tell me.
Jamie Dimon's work from home rant.
This is funny.
So this takes us back to February 2025. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon lost it at a town hall in Ohio when an employee asked about a petition signed by over 1,000 staff requesting hybrid work policies. So Mr. Dimon exploded, and I will beat myself out. He said, quote, "Don't waste time on it. I don't care how many people sign that effing petition. Don't give me the S that work from home Friday works." He went on to continue ranting about Zoom calls. A lot of you were on the effing Zoom doing the following: looking at your mail, sending texts to each other about what an a-hole the other person is.
That's the beauty. That's why I like those kind of Zoom calls, because I can text you and go, this person's a bit of a knob, isn't he?
Yeah, so anyway, that audio leaked in February, went viral pretty much immediately. About a week later, Jamie Dimon did apologise for language, but doubled down on his return to office policy. So there you go. Some reactions said it was support for authentic leadership.
Come on, you can do this.
The critic said it was a boomer CEO meltdown.
Well, it was.
And business media covered it pretty extensively as an example of generational workplace divide. We have talked about this on the podcast before, Al. Where do you now? How have you reflected on Mr. Dimon's behaviour?
Well, to quote Mad Men, I didn't think about him at all. I think, do you know what? If that's his opinion, that's fine. That's his opinion. He didn't go to the newspaper. He didn't go on TV and give that opinion. He gave it on a relatively private, or albeit public, albeit company, but a relatively private call. Someone's taken that and they've just played it and released it as like, this is what Jamie Dimon thinks of this. So first of all, that could be out of context. I don't think it is, but it's possibly when this is what some people say about remote work. Remote work is shit. And he went back and go, but of course I think it's great. Now, I don't think he did do that at all.
I think we know he didn't do that.
But it's possible. But still, look, this is this guy's opinion. He is far more successful than you and I are ever going to be. He earns far more money than you and I are ever going to earn, and then the majority of people in the world are going to earn. If he wants to do it that way, let him do it that way. I don't think it's fair. I wouldn't do it in my company. I wouldn't do it in his position. But do you know what? That's his company. Well, not his company, but he's the currently presiding over it. Let him do it. What do you think?
I think that it's another example of, it's not about the business decision you've made. It's about how that decision is executed. There is no need to be effing and blinding on a town hall with 1,000 staff. What message does that give in terms of the environment you're creating? It's very dictator-like. It's very hierarchical.
Dictatorial.
Yes, exactly. It's old-fashioned. It's treating your people like children. Clearly, this is a cultural issue that's been going on for a while, where they've treated their people like children, so they are acting out in ways that might seem uncivil in a workplace in terms of not engaging in an important meeting, perhaps. Do you know what? The remote, hybrid, in-office, whatever its context and culture exists independent of that context. This, for me, isn't about work from home. It's about control, and it's coming from somebody who feels it's slipping, because everything he knew, the world that he built his success on, is changing at such a pace that he is scared about what that means for him. So that, for me, is his fear driving a state of emotional dysregulation that's directly impacting his people and his business. Not cool.
Fair enough. No, I mean, I don't think it's cool. And I think also, because we're very bullish on the whole remote work thing, so I think it is kind of a little bit harmful, because those people, but I think all it's doing is finding those people who are on the fence and going, I'm not sure to do remote work, and they go, I follow Jamie Dimon. Okay, well, if he thinks that, I'll think the same. Or it's just ammunition for those people who are already on the other side of the fence, on the remote work is rubbish side of the fence. And it's just giving them ammunition to go, told you I was wrong, told you I was right, told you I was right, you're wrong, I'm right. For those people who love remote work and are very happy with their staff to do remote work, I don't think it's going to make a slightest bit of difference to them. So I think it's like a sort of a swing state, as they call it, don't they, in the American and UK elections. It's only really affecting like maybe the 10 or 15% people who are still collecting opinions and deciding whether they can do remote work or not. So
yeah, absolutely, like I said, it's not about remote or in office. It's not even about the business decision made. It's how it's being handled.
Fair.
And again, examples of this very aggressive leadership style being normalized to the point where some people are praising it as authentic leadership. That for me is hugely problematic.
To be fair, that's a very, very good point. But then having said that, the people who are praising it are probably the people who want to be like him. They're not, you're not going to get the John Amichis of the world praising it. John Amichis of the world are going to go, this is a load of rubbish. Don't be doing that. That's total rubbish. So, right. I agree that I think it wasn't cool the way he spoke, what he said. I agree that it's a very bad template for management. But I also maintain that anyone under the age of 35 would look at that and go, well, what an arse. They're not going to look at that and go, oh, maybe I should be more diamond.
I don't know. Love the manosphere, Andrew Tate, the rise of this type of more toxic masculinity on social media. I don't think it is bound to an older age group anymore.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh, well, in that case, that might change my score. So maybe I'm going to give this an F.
F. Hard F.
Hard F. Oh, dear. Okay, well, there you go. We look forward to your letters. Lee, we've not chosen an odd number yet.
Okay, then I will go for number 5.
Number 5. So story number 5 is... You did something. Leanne's got a great newsletter called LinkedIn AF, and if you under the age of 35, you know what AF stands for. And it comes out every Friday, and it's really, really good. She finds the best comments on LinkedIn, and she finds the funniest things. There was one guy, and I can't remember who it was, who said something about going to a Coldplay concert with your CMO. And then the most embarrassing thing was people know you're going to a Coldplay concert. This is what we're talking about. You will know what we're talking about here. You've got to. July 16th, Andy Byram, CEO of Astronomer, 1.3 billion with a billion tech company. He went to a Coldplay concert with Kristen Cabot. This is the worst bit. The company's chief people officer. Kiss cam arrived on them, obviously thinking these two couple canoodling, a little bit older. Isn't that nice PR? Look how lovely old people are still in love. And they were like, shit, and dived out, and then just hilarity ensued, and their world blew up. Obviously, Byron resigned. Cabot resigned a few days later. But it was just all over social media for about 3 days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The bit that I don't remember many people talking about was, as the camera zoomed in and caught these people who had both, I don't know what I told you, but both having affairs. I know you know that. Both having affairs with each other. Then it was Christine's second in command, the chief people officer, but she was probably head of HR or something, was she? She was there and had the biggest shit-eating grin on her face.
Mm-hmm.
That's the story.
Her.
That's the story I want to hear.
I spotted her. Oh, it's just so awful in so many ways. It's so awful, cringeworthy, awful, because it's initially you're kind of like, you absolute idiots.
Mm-hmm.
Being so like PDA when you're having an affair, you're both married, you're with people from the company.
Yep.
Then you get, then you get put on the big screen and then you hide. You could have even styled it out potentially and not got the attention because they hid. So Chris Martin went, well, either you're really shy or you're having an affair. If they'd just kind of released each other and waited and gone like, it probably would have moved on and maybe would have got picked up, maybe not. I don't think it would be as big as it was.
No.
So that's all. So on one hand, it's like, fools, what did you expect? But then on the other...
You know nothing about having an affair.
Yeah, come on now. This is like Affair 101.
Apparently, this isn't his first rodeo either.
Right, I bet it isn't.
Sorry, carry on.
Then you think about the dynamics of it being like the workplace CEO, head of people is, it couldn't have been the finance person, could it? So that's kind of then makes it worse. And then it's the thing that it's like these two poor people, their careers, man, that's hard to recover from. They're so well, because it's in Australia as well, isn't it? And I've worked a lot in Australia with senior level professionals. It's a small frickin' world in terms of, were they based in Sydney, was it, or Melbourne, or
I don't remember.
wherever they are, that
bit.
professional world is going to be very small, and you're world famous at this point. Like, people are going to know who you are. And then their families and how all that's been ruined. So I kind of went from, my whole thing was like fools to, oh, that's really bad for kind of workplaces, to these poor people and their families. How are you going to recover from that in a way that is even manageable? I hope they're okay, because that is traumatic.
Well, you're kind of taking the wind out of my comedy sails here a little bit, because you're quite right. Yes, that is pretty tragic. Not great for anyone. I would say, we're going to get some emails from down under shortly. I would say that a man who has an affair and then gets put on the big screen, is famous around the world, actually might not do as badly in Australia as you might think. Some of the companies we've dealt with in Australia, they're slightly, if I say 1970s sort of mindset, maybe.
I think regardless of, I'm not sure I'd go there with Australia. I don't think it is quite that. But I think you're right. He'll fare better than she will.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt. She's ruined, and that's not fair and it's not right. But how do you come back from that when you're ahead of people?
That's the worst bit, isn't it? I wonder, because I heard that the other woman who was with her, the one who did the big grin, they've been working together for a while, and I wonder if that other woman just, when she saw the kiss cam, went, brilliant, I'm chief people officer now. Whether that's what went through her head, like, I've got it, I'm done.
I don't know. You can't know, can you, how calculated that was, or how in the moment that was. It could be that she's been going on to her colleague for ages, this isn't right, it needs to stop.
Yeah.
Can't believe you've got the audacity to come here, this is really dangerous, blah, blah, blah. That then it happens and she's been like, well, that's karma. Or whether she's tried to style it out and been like, oh, we're just laughing here, right? We're just like,
maybe.
You don't know. People are always quick to make women villains, aren't they? In terms of like, mwahaha, this is my plan all along. And I'm not sure that was okay.
I thought really genuinely it wasn't meant anything to do about being a woman. And we're going self-referential here. It was about being a person. And she was just looking very happy. But then the other thing is, perhaps she just saw herself on the big screen and went, I'm on the big screen.
Yeah, I'm on telly.
Which always makes me laugh when people are on the screen and then they point at the screen, not the camera.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, that's not where the camera is. The camera's over there because... Yeah. Did you see the advert that Astronomer put out a few days later?
Yeah, with Gwyneth Paltrow. You talk about this.
Really simply, Gwyneth Paltrow did a little advert for Astronomer. Gwyneth Paltrow is the ex of Chris Martin from Coldplay. Was there any kind of affair thing going on there or not?
I don't believe so. They're consciously uncoupled, did they not?
Oh, sorry, I just been sick in my mouth. Yeah. So she did this thing and it was quite funny, but at the same time might have been in poor taste. But then also at the same time, maybe the media guys there were in law frenzy going, we have to do something. And someone went, get Gwyneth on the line.
Yeah. But the worst thing was as well, was it Andy, what's his surname again?
Burnham.
Andy Burnham.
Right, Byron, sorry. Andy Burnham's the Manchester mayor. He's
sorry,
nothing
Andy,
to do with
not
it.
You. He released a statement saying that they released a joint statement saying that they should have had to sign a release form or permission for the camera to go on them or something. Absolute nonsense, and we're not focusing on the right thing, to the point where then the next Coldplay concert went viral, a clip from that of Chris Martin saying, so what we're going to do now is put people randomly from the crowd on the big screen. If you don't want that, or if you're here with somebody you shouldn't be, then you might want to stop doing whatever it is. And it's like, and that went viral. It's like, you're making it worse.
Yep. You're digging a hole and it's not going well. So in terms of for what this has done for workplace culture, we've got nothing above a D so far. I can't imagine this is going to be above a D. Lee, what are you scoring it?
Oh, do you know what? I think I'm going to be because I don't think it's as bad as everything else we've seen. I mean, it's really not great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's two consenting adults entering a relationship that is ill-advised, but nothing illegal is happening here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's average. I think there's some bad. which is everything we've talked about, I think maybe there's some good in terms of, I wonder how many affairs in the workplace have since broken up.
Yeah.
Or how many people might be a bit more mindful about entering a relationship with their subordinate in the future. I'd hope there's some lessons learned from this. So I'm going to go average C.
I'm going to go B.
Okay.
Because from what you've just said there, I was originally going to go C as well, but I'm going to go B, even possibly A, because of those reasons you just said there. It hopefully will make some people rethink how they're doing things at work, and maybe actually rethink it so they can hide it better. But still, yeah. No, I'm with you. B. I'm speed. That's what I'm sticking with. B.
So B, solid, positive overall, not without its flaws.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Talking
okay.
of B, the number 3 rhymes with B and looks a little bit like a B without a back. So, will you tell me story number 3?
I will. Number 3, Duolingo's AI first revolution.
Oh, I don't know this, I don't think.
Oh, you do.
Do I?
I'm sure you do. So this has kind of been happening all year. So Duolingo, the app like you learn different languages on, their CEO, Louis von Ahn, announced that the company would gradually stop using contractors to do work that AI can handle and become AI first. So one of the first big organizations to really come out and make this claim they're going to be AI first. So Duolingo has already replaced 100 workers, primarily writers and translators, who create all the kind of quizzes and learning materials that the company is very well known for. Mm-hmm. This actually followed earlier cuts in January 2024 when Duolingo cut 10% of its contractor workforce, again as the company shifted content creation to AI. So the CEO, von Ahn, said teams must prove they can't automate work before hiring, and candidates' AI facility will be evaluated during hiring. So basically what they're saying is that if I'm a hiring manager and I want to make a hire, prove that AI can't do it before I give you that budget. A former worker said that the AI output is very boring. Duolingo has always been known as a very fun brand, very quirky, about just kind of being that lovely app, isn't it, that helps people learn and engage. But it has received criticism for some mistakes coming out currently or recently.
In the content,
right.
Yeah.
Which, after this criticism, again, the CEO walked back on his comments and said that that I do not see AI as replacing what our employees do, but potentially augmenting it. There was a journalist, Brian Merchant, who pointed to this as part of an AI jobs crisis. That's a series of management decisions being made by executives seeking to cut labour costs. And other users have criticised the company online, with many threatening to delete the app over quality concerns and ethical issues. So is it an honest innovation, Al? Is it about scaling education globally through the inevitable use of AI? Or is it corporate greed destroying the creative job industry? Thoughts?
I don't think that's very particularly creative to translate something.
Oh,
I think you just translate something. I think if they were writing stories, then that's creative. But no, I'm not going to class that as creative. Do you know what? Have you seen this?
What level have you got up to on Duolingo though? Because I'll be honest, I've not really got past the kind of general quizzes. Does it get a bit more complex as it goes on?
Buenos dias. Donde está mi coche? That's about as far as I've got. But do you know what's funny about this? When I saw this, I do remember this story now. And there's a meme that you see quite often, like these sort of like cheeseburger or whatever. You see these websites, and it says me going to bed at 2 a.m. And then it's just got it's got the Duolingo owl or whatever it's called thing going, let's review your mistakes. And I like the idea that with this CEO, that he's basically, someone's done memes about him going, let's review your mistakes without outsourcing to AI. Look, I'm going to be really not surprising. I don't know what I've been drinking today, but I'm really grumpy today. AI's here. Just get on with it.
Mm-hmm.
So AI took their jobs. So what? Boo-hoo. That's very sad for the individual people. But from an actual, generally, I was looking at me going, come on, Al, pull it, rein it in. My point is
I can replace Al. Cancel him, not me, okay?
Well, basically, you can still say with AI and with Al, because that's the way my name is. Look, the point is, AI is coming for our jobs. AI will take our jobs. If you've ever gone to Notebook LM, I've been listening to podcasts on Notebook LM that they've been creating from documents, and they're pretty good. They're like 60% good, 70% good, better than a lot of the other podcasts I've been listening to. We're replaceable. Everyone's replaceable by AI. The point is, that was a shame But then when, the calculator came in, people who were adding up on a reckoning machine were replaced. It's just the way the progression. Don't shoot the man from Duolingo. Be angry. I'm mixing my metaphors. Don't blame the game. Don't blame the player, blame the game.
Mm-hmm.
Lee, school me. I'm going to get some wine from the fridge while you're schooling me.
No, and you know what? This is a difficult one, actually, because I agree with you. I'm not against AI coming into organizations. I think it's happening whether we like it or not. I think it's how it's done. The ethics of it really interests me. And I don't think there's many organizations out there that are really thinking about the ethical implications of this, the societal implications of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it is, this is huge. This is bigger than the internet, I think. This is bigger in terms of its impact on employability. I just think it's a very bold claim at a fairly early stage of AI to make the bold declaration we are going to be AI first. And I think from a marketing and branding perspective, that was the mistake. Because I think putting it so publicly, it's not necessarily about being innovative because you're not using a whole new AI thing that doesn't exist anymore. You're using an LLM probably or something similar to translate stuff. So I don't think it's the flex that the CEO thought it would be.
Oh, no, I might have changed my mind slightly because I didn't know it was a flex.
Well, I don't know. It's like, why else would you come out and say it?
Oh,
because
that
if you're laying people off for it.
Now, yes, if he's come out and said, sorry, I've totally interrupted you there, but I won't, carry on.
No, please.
My point was that if he comes out and goes, yes, we're going AI first, and as a result, we've got rid of all these people, and look, it's all AI, aren't we clever?
Yeah.
No, you're a knob.
Well, that's what the story was.
In that case, then, I'll either edit what I've just said out, or I just won't bother. But
no, don't bother.
I've changed my mind, and here we go. Do you know Jamie Dimon? They are going to use... People are going to use what I said about 5 minutes ago as my rant. This will be my Jamie Dimon moment of going, oh, well, boo-hoo, just get on with it. There you go. Kid, I'm out of context. Anyway, Leanne, would you like another glass of wine?
Yes, please. Do you know, I think we're both on the fence a bit on this one. I think it was how it was handled. The flex just didn't land right. The ethics of this are barely being figured out. They're barely being discussed, let alone figured out.
True.
Then we have kind of the element as well of kind of this is a fairly new shift and transition. Legislation could potentially come out. I just think to be so bold about it when you're not an AI company, I don't think that's necessary. And I don't think it's going to make people feel better for losing their jobs because it's not personal. I'm going AI first. Oh, well, that's all right then.
Okay. I have done a U-turn. And I'm going to say this is an F.
Oh.
I'm going to say it's an F because it's for this person is flexing. That's not cool. I think that so what I've changed my mind about is the story is about the CEO going, yeah, but we're going AI first. Isn't that cool? Whereas if the story was about the CEO replacing humans with AI, I'd be like, well, of course, duh, we're all going to do that. But if it's about that, then it's an F from me.
Okay, that was a U-turn. I'm not sure it's that bad. I think this is happening. I just think how that's been communicated to the world and how it's being managed within the organization is naive. So I think I'm going to give it a C. I think it's average. I think there's some good aspects because, again, it's sparking conversation around people actually replacing people with AI and the problems that come with that, both in terms of quality and ethics and how that brand is perceived within the market. It's average. It was meh.
Fair enough. Okay. So we've only got time for one more. We've got about 3 minutes left.
Really?
I know. So which number are you going to choose?
Let me look at which one they are. Okay, these are ones that let me check. Do you want to hear about 200 UK companies going to a 4-day work week?
Yes.
Or do you want to hear about Qantas being hit with a record fine for illegal layoffs?
No.
A good news story to end.
A good news story. I like a good news story.
It's the wine. Go on then. I'll let you read this one out.
Okay, let me find it. So, number one. So more than 200 UK companies have permanently adopted a 4-day working week with no pay loss. And this affects over 5,000 workers. 2 years after participating in a groundbreaking experiment, these companies chose to make the policy permanent. So the pilot was conducted by 4 Day Week Global. That's not Joe O'Connor, is it? That's different.
I think it is different. Yeah.
Yes, a 4 Day work. No, not them. You want to go for Joe O'Connor. He's the guy who knows everything. So it made up of 24 companies. And Joe Ryle, the campaign director, said the 9 to 5 5-day working week was invented 100 years ago, and it's no longer fit for purpose. We are long overdue an update. Brilliant. Lovely. Basically, what they're saying, this is the facts. The company's revenue stayed broadly the same, despite the fact that people worked only 4 days. It rose by 1.4 on average. The staff leaving decreased by 57%, not 5.7, 57%. 57%, guys. 15% of employees said no amount of money would induce them to accept a 5-day schedule. The milestone comes as other companies push staff back to offices like Jamie Dimon. This is fabulous. As far as I'm concerned, it's an A from me. There we go. Good night. We'll see you next week. Lee, talk us through your thoughts.
Yeah, A's across the board. It's just make good sense. The key thing here, and I love that quote from Joe Ryle, campaign director, the 9 to 5 5-day working week was invented 100 years ago and is no longer fit for purpose. It is no longer fit for purpose, especially in a world that is so fast-paced, so always on, so blurry in terms of boundaries. I honestly don't think it's sustainable. We're going to go back to the day where people have heart attacks at 35 because it's just too much. It's just too much. And as we can see, it's not good for businesses either. That's insane. So at 1.45% on average increase in revenue. So you're making more money even though you're paying people the same for them working less, very much in the bunny ears, because they're probably working much more productively in the 4 days that they've got. Staff attrition, so people leaving, decreased by 57%.
That is incredible. Have you ever seen anything that was someone went, I implement this and my retention increases by whatever that would be? That's incredible.
No. And that means you're looking at an employee engagement rate probably within kind of the 70-80% mark, which is unheard of in these times. And it's probably saving the organizations millions, depending on the size of it, over just 1 year. This is an absolute no-brainer for me, an absolute no-brainer. I heard, I was talking to Audrey Tang the other day, who's been on the podcast, fabulous, very happy to call her one of my friends now. And I was talking to her and she was telling about how Charles Darwin was misquoted, survival of the fittest.
Mm-hmm.
She said that was misquoted. It's survival of the best fit.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's not like survival of the fittest, hustle culture, bro, Jamie Dimon, we're the people that are going to hustle until we're all dead. That's, we're the strongest that are going to survive. Like no. It's those that are the best fit. So I think it's the organizations that are savvy enough to go, no, we need to change this for our people, for our business, for our sustainability, are gonna survive and thrive. Love it. No brainer. 4-day work week is brilliant. We've done a couple of episodes on it. Most recently with Jeanette Ramsden from the Curve Group. And we also talked to one of the researchers behind the pilot.
Yes, we did. We had Joe O'Connor on. We had Ferry Cazoni, who, if you're on LinkedIn and you know a digital PR guy from Romania, that's Ferry, funny guy. And then we had, I forget his name. He got a really cool name like Bert Brazinti or something, or Brent
Banks.
But Bernard Banks, something Banks. We'll put the link in the show notes. I'm sorry about that, Mr. Banks. I've forgotten. But yeah, look, the quote here I think is really telling. Like Leanne said, the 5-day working week was invented 100 years ago. Yes, it was, but people went to work and they came home from work and there was no phones, there was no fax machine, there was no computers. 40 years ago, maybe you might bring home a laptop computer or have a computer at home. 30 years ago, you definitely had a laptop. 20 years ago, you probably had a phone or a BlackBerry. 10 years ago, you got an iPhone. Now, you've got iPad, iPhone, laptop. It's just not the same as it was even 30 years ago. So something has to change. Of course it does. And like Leanne said, you'll work harder in those 4-day weeks and probably don't really resent doing a little extra on the Friday. If something comes up and you go, oh, do you know I never did? I never sent that email to so-and-so. You don't go, screw them. They can wait till Monday. You'll go, oh, I've got 2 minutes in the morning over breakfast. I'll do it.
Absolutely. I have friends who work in 4-day work week organizations who say exactly that. They'll be like, oh, I meant to send that email. I just log on quickly. I'll have my morning coffee. Ain't no thing. Or there's a really important client meeting. Oh, it's only an hour.
Yeah.
And they might get that time back in lieu, maybe not, but it's who is going to leave a 4-day work week with full pay?
Unless there was someone did a 3-day work week.
Well, that's baby steps up, baby steps.
Also, I think it was Rory Sutherland who said that that everybody needs a 4-day work week because you need, on your weekend, you need a day to basically socialize. You need a day to do all your tasks and a day to do nothing. And so that's why you need it. So yeah, if you're interested in that, then definitely go and search on our history for 4-day work week. There's loads of stuff on there. Absolutely. Banks Benitez.
There
we go. I knew he'd come back to me. Loads and loads of stuff on there. And also let us know, is there a shocking story that we haven't heard that Leanne hasn't included here? Bear in mind that Leanne's now a Linfluencer. She's now got hundreds of thousands of people following her on LinkedIn. And also her first trolls, which is interesting. So it's obviously you've
I
made
got
it.
called ignorant and arrogant.
That was just me, actually, wasn't it?
Oh, that was this morning. Sorry.
But you are neither of those things. And I think most people on LinkedIn love you. And do you know what? What's worse than hate is ambivalence. And
that's true.
yes,
That's true. It's the people that ghosting me I need to worry about.
Yes.
I got ghosted by somebody that's really surprising, and I'll tell you later who it was. But I really want to talk about it because it's like, isn't this weird and funny? But equally, I don't, because I would never betray the confidence of somebody. But
if you want to know who it was, then email me and I'll tell you.
Yeah, and if you're interested in ghosting, we had Associate Professor John Michael on recently talking about small talk and ghosting. So
it was last Tuesday.
Yeah, if you're being ghosted, don't worry. It means that the person ghosting you is more than likely psychopathic. So
and we have more things about psychopaths. We've got several episodes on psychopaths, including the one I keep talking about, the guest who is a psychopath, and we've not actually disclosed who they are. Anyway, we're going to go. We will see you. What day is today? Tuesday. We will see you on Thursday for another episode. I forgot what it is, but just turn up. Just turn up. It'll be good. Or it won't.
Let's find out together.
Right, let's go and drink our wine and say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.